5 years in the making. You wanted it? Jeff Nippard, the remix.
Warning.
Yeah. Wait a minute. 5-6 in it. Get ready in the house. Gonna make him a believer. Jeff Nippard. Solomon's former client is a 5-4 circle jerker.
I wanted to see what would happen if I went from doing my usual 3 to 4 sets per exercise down to just 1 all-out set, sometimes 2.
And so what he wanted to do was sell his new training program. And so what Jeff did is he wrote a new program, said, you know what, I need to sell something different than I've done before, where I've said, hey, do more volume, and gone by the science that says do more volume. And instead of that, I want to do something different so that I could sell more programs and make more money. And so I created a new program, and in doing so, I had to do an experiment on myself and show that it worked and that I was able to put on more muscle. And so now that my program is out and it's finished being edited, and I didn't get Solomon Nelson to do it this time, I'm now going to make a video saying how amazing it is, how Mike Mincer and Coach Greg were right all along. That it's about the training intensity, that you should train harder than last time. You know, HTLT, where previously he stated Coach Greg named his company in order to embarrass me because I couldn't train very heavy on deadlifts because I had hurt my back. And you've seen the message. He wrote it to Solomon. I'm not making this shit up. And so Jeff is now saying, you know what? I'm going to start training like Coach Greg. I'm going to go hard. We're going to see if I can put on any muscle. Do we advocate doing super high volume? The not trained to failure to keep some reps in reserve? No. What do we say? Well, we say to train harder than last time, to go hard. And more specifically for myself, I say, find the program that is right for you. Some people like to do more volume, and if they do, they got to do less intensity. Some people like to go with more intensity, and they can do less volume. What you need to do is really enjoy your program. And so I've always said, you enjoying your program is almost more important than having an effective program because the program that's effective is the one that you're going to enjoy.
For the last decade or so, the standard science-based guideline for sets per muscle per week was 10 to 20 sets per muscle per week.
And so for years, we've said the science-based community has been saying 10 to 20 sets per muscle per week. Now remember, Jeff made that program 54 sets per muscle per week. 54, not 10 to 20, but hey, let's move on beyond that. That's an old program. That's the old Jeff. We can't criticize that, you know, same as we can't criticize Mike Rizertel for an old PhD thesis. And so we can only criticize what they're doing, I guess, in the last few months. That's really how it works, right? How many of those studies use professional bodybuilders who really trained really freaking hard? Like, they really pushed themselves. Because when I go to the gym and I watch people who train hard, most of them train like pussies. You call that training hard. When I go to the gym on a deload day, most of the time I train harder than people who are training hard. All right, well, science is bullshit. So you've heard train 1 to 3 reps in reserve. That's not hard enough. I always say train harder than last time. I'm gonna show you what does saving 1 in the tank look like, what does failure look like, and then what does actually training hard look like. And so let's see. All right, you're doing your set. I'm close, right?
Yes.
We'll see. So that's failure, right? I couldn't get it down, right?
Yeah. That's
All right, what about if I really train hard? Ready?
You had all that left?
Is that failure? That's 4 extra reps, right?
Oh my God. Jeez.
Was that failure?
Yes.
Let's see. And so, when I hit failure, my warm-up was done. I'm going to the gym. I'm just gonna go half-ass today. And I still push myself to failure and beyond on many of the sets. That's just how I train. And so how does a study saying I should do 20 sets for legs make any sense for me? And so my training right now is 2 days per week. Full body, twice a week. I do a couple sets, and that's all I can do. And guess what? I put on more muscle at age 50 than I did prior to that. Yeah, I get it. I've added in Turk Platinum and Turk Builder Max. It could be from that, but I think it's partially from that and partially from the fact that I am training with less volume. I can now recover. Remember, I race bikes. And so depending on you as an athlete, depending on your schedule and what you can recover from, that should dictate how much volume you actually do.
For the past 15 years, the research has been hammering the same message. Volume is king.
And again, the problem with those studies is how do they control the athlete's intensity? How do you ensure that they're training hard enough, that they're really pushing themselves? You can ask a person to do as many curls as they want. Some people are going to go to failure, and some people are going to look like they went to failure. You can't tell. They said, you can ask them, how many reps did you have left? I think I had one more. I feel like I was at my limit. And so if there was a gun to your head, how many reps could you do? Well, I'd probably get 10 more.
And so if you train with the perfect freaking technique, oh, it's got to be perfect, you're not going to train hard. And so forget about technique. The first few reps, do it good. If you're a beginner, do it good. But once you know what you're doing, stimulate the muscle, train freaking hard, and make some freaking gains. Stop training like a kitty cat, like Jeff Nippard.
And so you really find out true failure by going to true failure. And not everyone has the stones, the testicular fortitude to push themselves to that extent.
This time, rather than sets per exercise, they looked at sets per muscle per week, and they found a clear dose-response effect. Once again, more volume meant more gains.
Also, with these studies, how do you know that a 12 or 16 week study literally applies to training throughout your lifespan? Maybe training with 20 sets is perfect for 16 weeks, but can you keep that up for 16 years? And so in brief time periods, it's great. You do 20 sets, you make great gains, but if you try to continue that, you're eventually going to burn out. And so what works is what works best in the long haul. If you can't continue to do it year after year, then it isn't better for you than something that you can sustain for 16 weeks.
I was even singing its praises. Training volume, this has been cited as being the main driver of hypertrophy. But were we all kind of wrong?
And so no, Jeff, we weren't all wrong. You were wrong. Mike Israetel was wrong. Mike Menser was right. I was right. Lyle McDonald was right. But you continue to press science to make us other people look bad.
That trend held from as low as 4 sets per muscle per week all the way up to 43 sets per muscle per week. Even the authors were kind of like, man, I don't know what to tell you.
When the authors think that it's wrong, maybe it actually is wrong. Just because science says it's better, does it necessarily mean it? I mean, if you do 20 sets straight of an exercise, you ever think that you might get inflamed? You might get some swelling. You might damage the muscle, and it might then swell up a bit bigger, and you might think it's a muscle when it's not. It just be localized inflammation. I mean, if you inject steroids in your shoulder and you get swelling and it gets infected and your shoulder grows huge, are you going to say, oh, wow, look, you built more muscle? No, it's a swollen abscess. I mean, let's go over this experiment. They gave people a bunch of steroids and said, inject this testosterone, what is 600 milligrams? You guys don't even need to train. And they gained more muscle than those who took no steroids and trained naturally. But did they actually build more muscle, or did they just get bloated from retaining water from testosterone converting to estrogen? Did they think of that? No. And so what happens? People go on forums, go on chat lines, make videos saying science says that testosterone builds so much muscle and you don't even need to work out. Really? When you travel on an airline and you fly, a lot of times you get bloated. You get swelling, you get edema, your ankles are swollen. And so would you say flying builds more muscle because your body's retaining fluids? Well, yeah, an in-body scam, a DEXA scam said so. The in-body scam said I'm at 19.8% body fat. Does anyone believe that? And DEXA scams were primarily built to detect bone density. They are not MRI machines. They are not the golden standard of body fat testing. And so for all these studies, they use inaccurate testing devices, and oftentimes they repeat the study so many times and they show you the results that you want. Oh, these 10 studies that say the opposite, let's not publish those. And what do you think happens when people publish a study? They read the title. How many people read all of the intricacies of the plan? Not many. And so they get tricked. People then make videos about it with clickbait title, and so people then spread misinformation. Happens all the time.
These studies didn't apply high volumes to every muscle all at once. No, most of them just blasted their biceps and triceps or their quads with high volumes.
And so you see how easy it is to misrepresent science? They'll do a study overtraining with high volume, just the biceps. And overall, it works. I mean, granted, what if it's just the edema, the swelling, if you will? But what if it does work? Well, maybe it works just for the biceps. But if you have to do 43 sets for all of your different muscles, maybe it isn't effective. And so why don't people report that?
In the meantime, if you're looking for a low volume, high intensity program like the one that I ran during this challenge, you can get my brand new Min-Max program over at jeffnippard.com, and it's 25% off for launch week.
And instead of buying his book, you can train like Coach Greg. I go to the gym about every 4 days and I train my full body. I train really, really hard. I go from one machine to the next. It saves even more time. And so imagine how much more time you can save if you train at the gym twice a week. You do your full body. After you do chest, you go and do a set of back. After you do a set of back, you do a set of legs. After a set of legs, you do a set of shoulders. You can go from one machine to the next. You don't need to rest very long because while you're resting your legs, you could, for example, be doing your triceps. And while you're resting your biceps, you could be doing your calves. You're doing one set and you're resting another. And so in an hour, you can train everything very, very hard. Now, this is how I train. On top of that, I'm training 7+ hours a week on my bike. I've gained muscle and I'm very, very lean at 8.2% body fat, and I'm 50, and I take Turk Builder Max and the same 140 milligrams of test a week that I've been taking for approximately 5 years. And so, how am I getting stronger as I'm getting older? Is it this? Is it the fact that I'm doing less volume and training harder on those sets? I do believe it's a combination of both. And so if you're interested in Turk Platinum or of course GO2 Max, code Greg 15% off. And remember, if you don't get the gains that you're looking for, even if it doesn't exceed them, money back guarantee and a $20 gift card. Code Greg 15% off. Click the link in the description. Subscribe, click the bell button, comment to boost the algorithm. Please like the video if you like. Don't forget to watch one of those 2 bloops. For coaching plans, click the link and apply right now. And don't forget about the cookbooks, code Greg 15% off. And until next time, I am out.